when it comes to the type of groups that are having issues, I also think there's some issues with the way you can distract some sort of talking points onto something else. Like one example is um, if like you have problems and you kind of are more busy on your own problems, and then you don't realize that it may affect others. I guess that's somewhat of distracting real issues. Like, other issues can exist, but I guess it's kind of this distraction from the real issues, and I guess that's kind of a problem with political talking points when it comes to issues that needs to be addressed. For example, I can take an example of my talking points in the past on, for example, Judaism. I do think I was kind of I had a little bit of a misrepresented view on it, but I don't think it's a bad talking point on that one. But for example, when people talk about the evil of anti-Judaism or anti-Semitism that people talk about, uh, in terms of politics, it's mostly about because that affects people today. So it's not like you can still think that the whole chosen race of whether it's Arianism or Judaism, you can still think that the core value itself is bad, even though I guess people try to have other views on it. But the point is though, it's more affecting people who have actual problems in terms of groups that are organized to hate a certain group of people, and that's really the main issue. And that's why when people say anti-Semitism or anti-Judaism, that's really what they mean. So that's just one example of some blunder I may have talked about in the past, of not realizing that part. Uh, but you can still think that there's something wrong, inherently wrong, with hating people of racist views on that a certain race is better, or certain is inferior, or some kind of way that a group organize itself to kind of be uh, kind of just put other down in a sense. That's just what I mean. So that's the thing. There's some kind of distraction, I think, which is bad. So, but I do think that the best way to kind of understanding people is to try to learn more about. Yeah, there's two parts. One thing is learning. That's one thing. Just education. And try to understand how people work, like how just understanding the wholeness of it in a sense. And then you have to kind of assert yourself of how would you feel if this happened to you, in a group or something. So that's just what I want to cover really. Try to understand how you would feel if that happened to you. I think that's a very humanistic aspect of life. Yeah. So that's just what I want to talk about really. Thank you for listening, and bye. I guess I forgot about one more thing is there can be people who obviously exploit these issues. Like there is some legit issues, but then there are extremists who take it too far. Who in a sense, I can mention an example in United States. This is media in general, though it's not United States only, but there is also like people who kind of they are very provocative, I think. But I was watching this movie called Matilda. There's like this. I do think there's an interesting point when Father Harry talks to her, and the thing is he has a different lifestyle from her, and so he kind of watches TV, and he's kind of more of an anti-intellectual. While she enjoys reading books, and she kind of just like that life in a sense, and so because he kind of feels like she is threatening his lifestyle in a sense, so he kind of attacks her. I mean, he kind of at least scolds her and like, "Are you part of this family?" And and that's kind of what I think when it comes to people with political views are like in a sense too. For example, when it comes to a right winger, for example, when there's some people who just try to have a discussion, but some may feel like they are being massively provoked. So so they think like they are kind of attacking them just for being themselves, or having a point of view or something in a sense. So it kind of feels like it's attacking your life or your style of life, when in reality it may just be some issues that they are talking about in a rational sense, at least. But that's not all left wingers. I mean, there are some who obviously are provoking people and are just getting in your face. What I mean is, I do think this is a good psychological output of what extreme views can lead to. So this is definitely something you can argue whether it's a far left media or a far right one. But far right can also be an answer to the far leftism of media, of how far it goes. But yeah, I do think there's some interesting aspects of that psychology to it. Um, but yeah, I also do think it's some valid talking points on the whole victimhood thing, because I definitely do think there's a little bit problem with. I mean, it's mainly right-wing politics in general, though, because I just think that's kind of the nature of it. Is you're supposed to defend your position, so I guess that's just natural if you're a right-winger. But for example, the whole victimhood thing of trying to undermine a issue, I think that's something that's a little bit of a problem, at least. But yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about that one. So yeah, thank you for listening to this video, and bye.